This episode of This Week in MMO is brought to you by Netflix. For a free 30-day trial, head on over to netflix.com/GameBreakerTV.
GameBreaker TV.
Hello, everybody. It's Friday, so it's This Week in MMO. We're on episode 131 for February 8th, 2013. You're watching GameBreaker. I'm Gary again, and today we got Wildstar and its dynamic environments. WoW is dead. No, seriously, we're totally not joking. And there's a new MMO from Mark Jacobs, all that and more, plus your viewer questions. But first, Mike B, aka Phony, what's up, brother?
Hi, how's it going?
Hello, sir. Good.
Good.
Where are you? Is this like undisclosed location, underground bunker?
Yes.
Newness?
Yes, I'm just to the right of the previous underground bunker. You can't miss me if you're looking for me, guys.
And GameBreaker's very own Jason Winter is to the right, to the left of that underground bunker.
Left? Yeah, I moved to the left a little bit.
We moved just a little bit to the left.
I just want to say too, I have a cookie, so your argument is irrelevant.
Oh, dude.
Oh.
What?
All right, really quick. Before I jump into Wildstar, Neverwinter, I want to hear about it. I did not get to take part in the into the beta. B, did you?
No, I didn't.
All right, this is Jason
Lord,
Winter's segment.
I know, right? Like, Lord and I had the same conversations. Like, wait, why is Zam like all up on this? And then like they didn't tell anybody else about it. Like, thanks.
All right, Jason Winter with milk and cookies. Yeah, wash that down.
All right, I'm good.
Was it a good cookie? Is it good?
It's a real good cookie. Yeah, just a simple Toll House thing. They're in the oven a couple days ago. Last one though, I got
12 days ago.
12 days ago.
12 days ago.
No, is that what I said?
Sound like it.
No, a couple days ago. Whatever.
Anyways, on with the cookie story or whatever.
Anyway, Neverwinter story. Yeah.
Yeah, give me an overview. You did a Winter on Neverwinter article, which went pretty in depth with the dungeon stuff. Go check it out on GameBreaker.tv. It goes into a lot of detail. But just give me what first of all, like, just tell me really quick. What did they open up and allow you to see? Was it everything in the game?
They did. I mean, they would have. Except I just didn't have a whole lot of time and got a little miscommunication going on. So I had to just go in and do like the one dungeon that they were running us on a guided tour of. The dungeon was called the Cloak Tower. They had the whole thing with backstory about how it's for these wizards. It's a wizard lair, that sort of thing. But the cool thing about it was it wasn't just like you see in a lot of MMOs, just a tower and there's stuff in it. It's like they had the tower bit, kind of moved on to this underground area with crystals, and then another place with mushrooms, and it was taken over by these orcs. So really a lot of pretty varied environments for one 30-40 minute dungeon run. It seemed like a lot of different stuff going on there.
Now I assume this is a closed instance dungeon for you and your party. Yeah.
It wasn't like a public dungeon or a dynamic event or anything like that. It was just your typical 5-man dungeon run. We had I think 3 of us were the guardian fighters, the big kind of tanky guys. We had a rogue and a cleric. I think Chris Metz, the designer, was playing the cleric, so he had the tough job. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. Someone else was. That's right, because someone else talked about kind of making it kind of difficult to target people. But
so varied environments, you like that? What was like? What would you say? Did you finish the dungeon?
Oh yeah. It was fairly easy, a little easier than I kind of thought it should be for basically 4 guys who'd probably never played the game before. Maybe they just gave us a lot of good gear, and maybe we were in a bit lower level for it. I don't know. We were like level 16 or something.
Well, how long would you say?
Already complaining about dungeon tuning. First preview, already complaining about dungeon tuning. Damn.
Just too easy. All the Care Bears are going to jump right into this. No, yeah. I mean, like I said, we finished it. It took, like I said, about 30-40 minutes. And the thing about Neverwinter is it's not that hard to get into. I mean, because again, I never played before, so I just jump in. I look at my hotbar and I see I've got like what is it? Q, E, and R, and the tab button are like my primary abilities. And I got a left click and a right click for like my basic attacks. So that's really it. Now I could assign different things, so we did a little bit of messing around with traits and so on when we were, just before we got in. So there was probably some variety in what I could actually put in, or maybe there wasn't because it was just the beta. They don't have a whole lot of stuff in yet. But it was, there were really only like 6 buttons I could press, plus a couple things for potions. So
how did
pretty quickly.
So familiar controls. I think 30, 40 50 minutes is pretty good for a dungeon, especially if it's somewhat of a starter dungeon. It's at least not like hours and hours. What about how did combat? What class did you play?
Actually, I played the Guardian Fighter, the big tanky guy, and I found right off I had like my 3 moves were there was a charge in kind of move, just to jump in, you know, Leroy Jenkins, all that sort of thing. One of the other moves was a taunt. That was my E button. My tab was a mark. I can mark a character. I put a big red X on it. You can see that in one of the screenshots of my articles, and then that character, that enemy, like has less effectiveness fighting things other than me or whatever it was. And then I had like stun moves, so pretty much all melee except for my charge-in thing. Then as you played, as you went along, you also built up power on this 1 meter thing. You filled this little like D20 kind of thing. And you could fly. I could knock that off every minute or so, and just do like this big area knockdown effect too.
All right, so special abilities. How did combat feel for a tank overall? I mean, did it feel really good, smooth, the animation's nice, everything playing well?
Yeah, it was really pretty. I was really surprised at how nice it looked. I mean, it's not like, you know, the total Art Deco kind of look that maybe Guild Wars 2 has, or that kind of almost unnatural thing, kind of like unnatural kind of beauty like Terra or an Ion. But it looked really good. It looked about as good as it looked like, kind of like I would expect a D&D game to look, which is somewhat realistic, but also still fanciful and pretty enough that you really feel like you've got some good graphics on it.
So you, the way you're describing the controls, obviously it sounds very actiony. Did it feel like I'm watching all these gameplay videos come out, and the action looks very visceral. Like when you hit, it looks like you're hitting hard, even for some of the smaller classes. Did it feel like you were hitting hard, and then like when you're on the receiving end of damage and everything, were you able to what kind of avoidance and all that stuff did you were able to?
I had no avoidance practically. I was just a big
my face.
Well, yeah, pretty much that was it. Because guys had like a tell, kind of like in Wildstar, you see like the red circles on the ground or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the one guy had most of the bosses would have like almost a semicircle or even a 3/4 circle. And I was just like, I don't have a dodge roll or anything like that. I guess I can maybe move around to get back of him, but I might not have time. And I was like, I'll just suck it up. I'm a big tank guy, whatever. The rogue in our party he needed the healer a lot more. So I'm thinking he didn't do that necessarily. He didn't go around back, or maybe because there were basically three tanks, we were all shifting the boss around or whatever. So maybe he was getting a little confused. In terms of like the feel of it, it didn't feel that meaty. I mean, again, I think it's something they can still work on. I thought the sound effects were maybe a little bland for that time, but I think you could definitely work on that. And there's one other thing I was going to say too when you were asking me about that. Oh yeah, just the general way combat worked. I kind of described it almost as a combination of Terra and Guild Wars, in that you do have action combat, and like with my slash attack, I could just left click, right click, and slash in front of me as much as I wanted. But to activate a power, I had to have somebody in my reticle. Like the charge attack, I had to have it lit up over an enemy. So I'd have to actually make sure I was targeting, looking at the guy. So if I didn't, and I pressed my button, nothing would happen. So I had to sort of target, and it wasn't just completely free. I wouldn't do the charge forward if I wasn't targeting something, but you do have to at least somewhat aim, and you don't have quite the full freedom to just go forward and do powers whenever you want. Interesting.
How did you feel like? No, obviously this is a free-to-play game coming out. If you guys haven't checked it out, you can go to I think it's Play Neverwinter, if I'm not mistaken, or if you're north, I'm at nw.perfectworld.com, but
yeah, they changed it to that a little while back. But
yeah, I think I don't know. You search Neverwinter and you'll find it. I think it's Play Neverwinter will redirect you there. So it's a free-to-play game coming out from Perfect World. How do you think this is holding up? I mean, going straight free-to-play, does it feel like? I mean, from all the things that we've seen, and the last that I played it was at PAX. It really felt like it was shaping up to be a big, full, robust AAA MMO, like we like to call them. Does it feel like that?
Yeah, I mean, nothing I saw in there seemed to indicate that it was like cheap or Asian shovelware or anything like any of those other crappy free-to-play things we talk about.
And I mean, and the other thing I think a lot of people associate with is possibly like certain things missing. I mean, were there any sort of components that you're used to in an MMO that you felt weren't there, or is it still just need some more time? Or
well, I only did the one dungeon, so I didn't get heavy into like the chat system or how guilds work or anything like that. So I can't really quite get on that. I know Troy, one of our writers, like going to really delve into it, I think, over the weekend. So he's going to probably have a better article up next week to get into all that other stuff.
And I think something that a lot of people are really waiting to check out is the Foundry, right? And that's the Foundry is where they're going to allow players to actually create their own content. So, do we know how this works yet? Because when I got to check it out last time at an expo, it wasn't ready to be shown off. They just told us about it, and it's some way for players to.
when I was gonna say when we were at PAX, I don't think you were there, but I got a little closed door demonstration of it from Andy Velasquez, one of their lead designers, and it did look really good. It's like I was watching that and I was like, because I'm an old school Dungeons and Dragons DM, and I wanted to create stuff in that. Because he was showing me, I mean, he just took something pretty simple, just like a room and a corridor and linked them up or whatever, and put a few orcs in there, just a really simple thing. And then, you know, he just ran it through, and going in there, you wouldn't have known that it was something a player designed. I mean, it looked, the way they were able to, they had some system they called Doors Anywhere, I think they called it. So if you hook up a corridor to a room, it'll make a door there. You can shift that around anywhere you want. And it'll look like it was just placed in, like, by a designer.
Huh, interesting.
So, that is really good system they had, and that it looked like they were working with it. And that was at PAX, so like 6 months ago.
How much other freedom do they allow the player? I mean, do you write dialogue for it and everything and tell a story within this dungeon? So can you do like walk? Can you adjust NPC walk movements and hexes and things like that?
Patrols and all that.
Yeah,
I believe there were controls for either having an NPC stand there or having pathing. I believe. In terms of getting it, you assign an NPC in the world to give you the quest. So it could be just any NPC. You'll have the question mark, whatever, over his head. You go to him, you talk to him. Look, again, it feels just like someone designed it and put it in the game. You'll talk to that guy, you'll say, go to here, and then do stuff.
What do you guys think? Because SOE's also been a big thing about the emergent gameplay, and we're seeing things like the SOE store where players are going to be able to create like items and guns and upload things. Do you guys think that the whole like player-generated content, like Neverwinter's going for, really has legs here? I mean, I think the fear for a lot of gamers is we're going to get a lot of crap because it's not designed by you know, real devs. But on the other hand, if, you know, I mean, Neverwinter Nights had a whole community of people who really spent a lot of time, I think, and some people created some really robust things, you know, encounters in there that were actually really cool.
Yeah, like SOE's approach with the essentially doodads and all that, that's, I would put that in a totally different category. That's like in the TF2 hats area right there. It's like, this is building an environment that you can immerse yourself in. It's such a big deal. You know, these guys are going to be able to create, and we see it with, like, you know, with Minecraft. We see it with, you know, with Trials. I mean, like, anywhere that you have like a robust system of being able to create anything you want, almost, it just kind of creates just endless amounts of gameplay. You could constantly go in and play, just to try something different. Even Rift with the player housing with dimensions. It's like, that's another thing. You know, you could go in and check out everybody's individual dimension and have a completely new experience every single time you go and check it out. It makes you want to try more. And you get and like, it's funny, not only do you have that almost endless amounts of gameplay because you have endless, you know, user generated content coming your way, but also as a creator of that content, you can become fully immersed in just creating the content to begin with. I mean, like you said with Dimensions, like, you were there for how many hours? Just
hours. So you could just sit and spend hours creating stuff, and that's what. And this really falls in line too with hardcore D&D people. I mean, it makes perfect sense, right? I mean, D&D fanatics, you start tabletop gaming, the first thing you do is you play modules, right? That come with the, you know, with the box and this, that. But then if you really play for an extended period of time, somebody's the DM. There's usually somebody who's a little bit more creative, and they kind of step up. And most people that I always played with back in the day, and still some of my friends who do, somebody starts writing their own stories and their own modules. And that's where it becomes really interesting, is when people start taking over that role of DM. And I think that's what a lot of D&D people are. If the Foundry is really that well put together, and it sounds from what you're talking about like it will be, it's gonna be really interesting to see what DMs are gonna do, because I think that's a cornerstone of D&D, right? Creating your own modules.
Yeah. Somebody says it, but does it drop loot? Yeah, I want to see how they manage progression when you have, you know, so much player generated content. Are they going to create a line of, I guess you could say, like almost campaign, like single player campaign style stuff, where you have a pre-designated line, everything's tiered appropriately and tuned appropriately, or do they have like a system in place where, you know, you're going to insert a boss or something, or a mob of some sort that has pre-designated stats and loot, and just because that individual NPC or a mob has these attributes that are already assigned to it and they cannot be altered or whatever, it's always going to be this hard no matter where you put it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that
Andy did mention that. That was one thing he brought up briefly just when we were talking at PAX. He did say that, like, at least for instance, like, you can't make a dungeon full of level 1 monsters dropping level 50 loot. They said that is at least something they have in mind. I don't know exactly how they're going to implement it, but it's something they're definitely aware of.
That's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see that aspect of it. The beta is running right now through this weekend for, I guess it's the Founders. People who have pre-ordered the game are in beta. The Founders Pack, it's called. So if you guys want to go to nw.perfectworld.com, or I think Play Neverwinter also get you there. You can sign up for beta. Possibly, I guess you can get a key if you just sign up for beta, but I know the Founders Pack people are in there this weekend actually playing with exclusive beta access. So go check it out. We'll definitely be covering it a lot more. We're going to see how this one turns out, but it sounds really good. All right, next up this week, lots of Wildstar news hit this week. The biggest thing we found out was a 2013 release confirmation. So it has been confirmed we will see Wildstar in 2013. Executive producer Jeremy Gaffney had this to say. He said, "Today, I'm very freaking excited to share with you that our schedules are pointing towards Wildstar hitting its ready this year, 2013. We meant it when we said that this was going to be the year of Wildstar, and that begins right now." So I think we can pretty much call this a confirmation. They do have some leeway with their schedules are pointing towards.
I read that, I'm just a little like, yeah, okay.
Well, good. I mean, he left himself a way out. Yeah, you know, at least he's not going the Guild Wars route and saying, we have an expansion's worth of content. Well, maybe not. He gave his way out, so... But I think most of us expected this to be 2013, right?
Yeah, definitely. Right? Didn't we? I'm fairly certain we did.
I did.
Or it was close. Or actually, I think it was close. I think was what we were saying. Like it should be like towards the end of the year. You know what's funny? I found out that the announcement actually was accidentally made not like probably months ago on HuffPost TV somewhere. Like I guess the reason why it was ever picked up is because apparently nobody watches HuffPost TV, so that was pretty much it. Like I guess it was there the whole time, and just nobody saw it. But regardless, 2013 sounds great for Wildstar, and like the videos that they're putting out look fantastic. I'm sure we're probably gonna get to those in a second, but it is looking good. I'm still not a fan of the tells, but I mean I'm not gonna be a dead horse. I'm gonna get over it and check out the rest of it, of course. But yeah, the attitude is awesome.
I would imagine now also, yeah, so it looks like they're opening up the faucet a little bit with more information. There's been a couple videos that have dropped. We don't play videos anymore in the shows, unfortunately. We keep getting content.
Oh, that's right.
Damn you, YouTubes. So, but you can go check those out. We've been covering them. I imagine we're going to start getting a lot more Wildstar. We've been getting the Wildstar Wednesdays for quite some time. I imagine they're going to start opening up the floodgates a little bit more of the faucet on more and more news, and we'll kind of hear some more stuff. So there's actually some new info. Here's some new info. So he said, we've built some cool tech. It lets us change our world and modify the terrain very easily, in some cases dynamically. This lets us mix up our raids and dungeons on a weekly basis to provide new challenges. But it goes beyond this. For instance, this tech lets you not just build a house, but modify the land around it in ways that truly matter. That sounds really interesting. I mean, this almost sounds like this could be a big step forward in dynamic content. I think we've been looking for stuff. You know, a lot of people have been doing different things like Rift, with like you mentioned, with you know, player housing and things like that. I mean, out in the open world, this sounds pretty awesome. I don't know. Maybe you've got a snowy zone with glaciers and stuff, and there's some kind of event that happens, and glaciers melt, and then the sea levels rise.
Oh, I thought we were gonna get a shovel or something. It's like, there you go. That sounds like a great quest.
Little global warming in your Wildstar. But what do you think? I mean, Guild Wars 2 nailed down dynamic content and really kind of took dynamic content to a new area. I wonder if now, you know, you're gonna see Wildstar take dynamic content to dynamic environments as well. Sounds really cool.
Yeah, like we saw with Rift, and you know, whenever Rift is formed, like you get this really cool effect. And at the time, that looked really good because it would take over things, and you know, the mobs that would spawn would go and take over, you know, NPC villages and all that, which was an awesome thing. And then like we mentioned with Guild Wars 2, you know, the content that's constantly cycling, and there's always something different. Like you go to a farm and it's on fire, and then you go and you put it out. Here, and judging by the videos and stuff that they've shown, it looks like you're actually gonna get you're gonna get probably something around like closer to what Guild Wars 2 is in terms of, you know, real effects. Like with Rift, it's like you just have a rift that opens up and things happen at the surrounding area, and then it closes back up and it's gone. Here, it's like I feel like we might even get into like terraforming. I didn't see anything in the videos that I saw. I probably missed it, but that would be cool. Like if there's an explosion or something and there's a gaping crater in its place, because they showed that you could go through and do these like these events where you go there and you basically trigger these bombs. It'd be nice if we saw that, like where you could be running along and all of a sudden you're like auto running where you normally do, and all of a sudden you're in a hole. It's like, where does this hole come from? Oh, somebody detonated something here. That sucks. But stuff like that would be great. Not just, doodads swapping out from one to another, on fire or not on fire.
That's got to be hard, though. I mean,
well, yeah, it's got to be hard, totally. Yeah, I'm not saying it's easy. No, come on, guys, it's easy. Just do it.
Yeah, everyone's done it. Yeah. I mean, I like that the example you gave with the glaciers and suddenly that regular zone is an underwater zone now. It's like, maybe.
Like, like water, like you said.
Well, I do really want to start seeing some of this stuff. Mm-hmm. I've said that in the past, even when we were at some of the conferences. It's like the Wildstar team, great bunch of people that we met, and they seem really excited about it, and they were, really talking a lot about how it was going to do things very differently and stuff like that. And the tell system is about the one thing that we have seen, that is, we haven't seen before in MMO. But I want to start seeing some of this stuff a little bit more. Like, I want to start actually seeing how different this is going to be. Like, because when we got the kind of the last was PAX Seattle, which is a while back now. We didn't see anything in that demo, Jason, that was sort of like mind-blowing, like that, like why this was going to be so different. They kind of did some fly-throughs of environments, and the environments look great. The graphics look awesome. Mm-hmm. But we didn't actually get to see any of these things that they're talking about, how it's going to be so unique and different and new and fresh. And it's like... We saw the giant robot and asked if you could fight him, and they were like, eh. Yeah, like we saw a lot of amazing set pieces. We just didn't... I want to start seeing some of these, these actual things in play here. You mentioned about this crater thing, so check this out. So we saw the video on player housing. I guess that was a few months ago, and that looked really awesome. Check this out, though. Jeremy finally he closed up with this saying, "We've used this to hand you the power to band together to build a full-on battlefield. Your war plot, we call it. So this is the best. The best in the world at PvP have a way to build, invest, and show their dominance, not just through cool armor or glowy swords, but by truly creating epic, persistent fortresses to take to war." Now are we talking territorial control? Well, we saw those houses that were floating on land masses up in the sky, right? Yeah. And then we saw that one thing where it looked like they were sort of re-aiming some sort of battle weapon at another house, and we were like, oh, I wonder if plots, you're going to be able to have like house battles and like shoot at other people's houses. That would be fun and cool.
That's what it sounds like to me. I mean, it sounds like you get on your island and pilot it around and blow up other islands or something.
That's exactly what it sounds
like. The flying fortress.
So you take this all.
Part about it that really gets me there is when it says there will be your fortresses you can take to war. Fortresses don't usually go to war. Fortresses have war happen to them. This sounds a lot more offensive.
It's true. Yes, very good point.
Islands, yeah.
So do you guys?
I was thinking more like phasing, like your plot of land would be phased into another one, and like in the middle, basically would be joined with another that you do battle with or something. But you're right though, with the player housing being the way it is, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw, the ivory tower or something like floating in the air. You're moving it around to battle things.
Do we know if that stuff was an instance or if it was open world? I feel like it's been a while since I followed up on that. I thought it was open world stuff, but I can't imagine these like plots of land just hanging out everywhere with player housing everywhere. I guess maybe it's possible. You think you're just gonna have like
I can see it being instanced instead.
Traffic jams.
Traffic jams of housing. I guess I think I don't know. I'm watching chat room and chat room's going like, could Wildstar be sleeper hit of 2013? Do you feel like a lot of people know about Wildstar? I feel like not enough people are dialed into it.
Yeah, I mean the metrics I look at just look like it's not that big in terms of how well known it is. So yeah, it's still kind of low on the hype train in terms of just general knowledge of, we talk about it as we know about it, we know about all the big stuff, or we know about all the stuff, big and small, and it definitely kind of is smaller compared to like Elder Scrolls Online or EverQuest Next, stuff like that has, first of all, kind of a pedigree of previous stuff to build on, Elder Scrolls, EverQuest, whatever.
Sure.
Or it's kind of come from out of nowhere. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So.
Well, I mean, now that we've got 2013 basically confirmation out of the crew, hopefully we'll start seeing, maybe the marketing team will get cracking and start releasing some more meaty stuff on Wildstar Wednesdays. I like the lore, but seriously, couldn't mind seeing some of these new, crazy, innovative things in action. I mean, just show us this like war plot land firing on another war plot or something. It's gotta. Let's
Didn't
see
you
it.
say in the rest of that article, say something like, "We're going to get press looking at this now"? I think that was mentioned in the article. So
Oh, was it? Okay, good. Come at us, bro. Come at us, bro. All right, sad news for World of Warcraft fans this week, or should I say former World of Warcraft fans. World of Warcraft is officially dead. That's right. It's done. It's over. I have the proof. Right here. Proof.
This image that we drew up in Photoshop is proof. Look, there's a panda in it.
It's got a down arrow. Down
It's
arrow
panda
always
in it.
means
A down arrow and a sad panda. It's internet proof. No, it's funny because it's not true. So, Activision Blizzard have released their fourth quarter financial numbers. They described it as better than expected results. They had a cash flow of $1.3 billion across all of the Blizzard franchises. World of Warcraft subscriber count dropped down to a pathetic 9.6 million.
Again, right? Isn't it like it just keeps floating around here?
It's really not quite dead with 9.6 million. It's down from the 10 million it had in Q3, but it's still up from the 9.1 million low they had in Q2 of 2012. I mean, this was obvious. This was obviously a joke. If you didn't get it, I can't really help you. Everybody's talking about 400,000 subscribers being such a huge swing, right? But I think the thing that everybody has to keep in mind as well is that when you have 10 million people playing your game, your swings are going to be larger than most other games. When other games
Especially
swing,
at its age.
yes, when other games swing 10, 20, 30,000 maybe, like 400,000 for 10 million really is kind of relative. And it's kind of like a normal day in the day of swinging numbers.
It's swinging entire MMOs worth of subscribers. It's like, oh, well, it was like we lost even a half.
Well, my joke on Legendary last night was it basically lost Star Wars The Old Republic's player base.
Oh. That's because they all went back. That's what it is. See?
Love you guys.
We're screwed
Love
up.
I don't know. Anybody worried? No? Okay, moving on. Why did this become a thing? See, we did this
What's
because World of Warcraft is dead became a thing. Like, it became a thing.
It became a thing. I remember looking at people talk about WoW killers when I was doing research for an article a while back. I saw someone writing about a WoW killer 2 weeks before WoW launched. It's been a thing forever.
I don't know what Mike's doing, but it looks good.
Wow, he's like typing and stuff.
I mean, and none of this really, who cares about any of this stuff, right? I mean, Titan's going to crush them all. Double Warcraft's numbers probably, right?
No. Not that much. I'm very often something else. I am of the opinion that Titan isn't going to be like ginormous. I think it's going to be another MMO, which like all the other ones is going to be at best maybe decent.
I'm going to say...
good, but I don't see 9-10 million.
I'm going to say 73 million. That's what I'm going to say. 73 million people are going to play Titan. Oh, you've got the Daily Blink Tombstone.
Yes. It's so good. It's so good. And it's absolutely true. It's like every single time something happens, it's like, oh, it's dead. Oh, it's a little off. Okay, for real this time. Oh, annual pass. Not counting annual pass. Continue on next tombstone. It's brilliant. It's absolutely true too. It's the attitude that, and that's why, and one of the reasons why we have these headlines like "Wow, it's dead" is because we're mocking the people that say that. Which there are lots of people who for some reason jump on that bandwagon and say that, oh, it's dead. It's like, oh yeah, it's totally dead again.
Officially, it's officially.
Good job, Chris Hannell. Good job.
All right, next up, we got any Dark Age of Camelot fans out there? I'm sure some of you. Old folks have played that old ass game. Well, Camelot Unchained, which every time I say this name, I just cannot. I just hear Unchained by Van Halen. Like, should have saw the picture we were gonna go before that.
Oh my God, had.
You want to talk about that before Mark
Suddenly-
Jacobs? Have you seen this? I can't even show the trailer. Scarlet Blade, new area game, adult MMO with nudity. Only can play as
Wow,
chicks.
with nudity. Oh man, I need to get
You
on
should have saw the
that.
image. We had a different image for the first round, and we kind of sat around and was like,
They have a calendar. They have a calendar.
As they
2013.
I'm blocking it. I'm censoring it. Sorry, internet.
Yes, that is. It's actually too much for TWIMMO. So if you guys want to check it out, Scarlet Blade and a new adult MMO just dropped the trailers on the front page of GameBreaker TV. Go check it out.
Too hot for TWIMMO, but not too hot for the front page of GameBreaker, baby.
Absolutely not. NSFW.
Oh hey.
Mark Jacobs, industry veteran, gonna make a new MMO. If you remember back, he's the guy who created Dark Age of Camelot. Very big RVR guy, which is realm versus realm combat. We don't see this much anymore. So what that is, it's 3 faction, basically large scale PvP battles. So 3 realms. It's always got to be based around 3 realms. So if you played Dark Age of Camelot, you remember that. Warhammer didn't really follow up with it, but they were sort of doing a weird version of it that didn't really work. But if you played Dark Age or Warhammer, you know his name. Camelot Unchained is going to be his latest project. It's under the studio called City State Entertainment. They're going to be hitting up Kickstarter in March. And there's some interesting quotes from Mark here. I think they're Mark. They don't really say whether these are his quotes, but we're going to assume that he wrote these dev blog posts that he's been posting. So he says, I choose to make an RVR-focused game that, even if successful, has no chance of threatening Dark Age of Camelot's peak subs of 250,000, let alone something much larger like EQ1. So, definitely a WoW killer, obviously. WoW, well, seeing WoW is already dead. No. But this is really interesting. I found it interesting that he comes right out of the gate of just like, he's making a smaller MMO. It's going to be very niche. Not going for less than 250,000 right out of the gate. Just going to stay really focused. Are you guys surprised that he doesn't even think that they can hit Dark Age of Camelot's numbers?
I'm not surprised that he doesn't think that, but I am surprised that he would come out and say it.
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
everyone wants to be big, huge. Even if you're not talking WoW numbers, you'd at least like to think, well, we'll have 1 million or 2 people or whatever. So to just say, we're not even going to make 250,000. Maybe we'll get 6 figures. Maybe we'll get 100,000 or 200. So it's.
We don't even want to play this game.
But it's
Don't
me and
play
3
this game.
friends.
Why
That's
would you
almost
even play this game? What the heck?
RVR. We only need 3 people. That's all we need. 1 in each realm.
I mean, what do you think, Mike? I mean, do you think you'd be selling this as like a Dark Age of Camelot 2 or like a new Dark Age of Camelot? But it's like, I mean, it sounds like it's going to be even more niche than Dark Age.
Right, yeah. To go more niche than that, we talk about this a lot. It's like some studios don't necessarily require, even 100,000 to remain successful. It really depends on, how they're supporting it and how much money what their overhead is and all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, if he's coming out and saying, yeah, we don't really need any more than 250,000. So I mean, come play it if you want. Either he's trying something new to see if it works. Millions of subscribers, or he really is like targeting some really small group that is playing a game that is now like a decade old, or more than a decade old.
It doesn't sound like he's trying something new, though. It sounds to me like he's trying to take what everybody who played Dark Age loved about Dark Age. And it was really the realm versus realm combat. These just large, insane battles of 3 realms fighting against each other in massive PvP. And the PvE was like, it was good, it was okay, and there was other stuff to do, but really that's why Dark Age kind of became known for, was the PvP. So it sounds as if like he's not trying anything new. He's just gonna focus and hone in on some of that stuff. What do you think about business model on something like this, though? I mean, we haven't heard anything about this. Do you think that a game like this could survive on a sub? I mean, if you look at, I don't know, like a niche game, like you pretty much can call Eve a niche game, and that can survive on a sub. Do you think that this would be a free to play, or what are you gonna call it?
I think he can do with a small sub, like less than $15 a month, 5 or 10 maybe, because he's already not planning on having a whole lot there, and it's kind of compact, only has the 1 game style. So yeah, I couldn't see it being $60 and $15 a month from there on. It's gonna be something less than that, whether it's a free box and $10 a month sub or something like that. maybe on that
What do you think, B?
that way.
I think Eve is an example of like World of Warcraft. It's kind of grandfathered into the system, the subsystem. Except for the fact that I would definitely consider Eve to be kind of to be a niche game, not even kind of. It's I don't know, like it doesn't going free to play with such low expectations in player base. I mean, yeah, you're gonna get a lot of people come over. Like everybody that's ever played Dark Age Camelot, you get them. But God, what is your conversion gonna be? Like, what are you gonna offer in the cash shop to make sure those people are actually actually buying stuff? You know, it's.
And I'm watching chat room
in this. Go ahead.
And, no, I was gonna say I watched the chat room and they're saying something I think it's interesting. It kind of falls into what you're saying. It's like, you know, even though it's a super niche audience and it might be small, they might be such a hardcore audience of wanting this style of gameplay that could be the lifeblood of a game like this, and they would be willing to pay a sub for something like this because they're just like, wow, I love this game. I love this style of thing. I'm so glad somebody finally brought back the RVR, and I'm willing to pay for that.
Yeah, that's why I think it could have a pretty good chance to having a sub.
Yeah, we have to see some kind of upswing here. I mean, remember, like 2 years ago, like free-to-play meant garbage, and now free-to-play is the standard. So at some point, we're going to hit an upswing, and it could happen as soon as 2014. You know, throughout this year, we're going to see a transition, like games like this that come out, and people are going to pay for games like this. Because it is something that obviously tickles their fancy, and we'll start to see more sub-based stuff instead of like free content, kind of like Twitch Turbo, as a matter of fact, something like that. You're seeing subs pop up all over the place. So who knows?
Next up, I had this to say about some of the game as well. He said, I may also put in some features that some people might not consider fun, like true day-night cycles, slower and different leveling systems, extremely limited fast travel. No PvE leveling or gear grind, because I believe that this will make a better game for our niche. I gotta give him props, man. I think for a smaller game going for this market, I like these ideas.
Yeah, I love the true day-night cycle thing. I love that. I love. Because if you always consistently play, I mean, for me anyway, that might be the only one here, but if you're always playing at a certain time every night and you always go in, it's nighttime, right? Then your experience is always going to be tailored around it being nighttime. This is the game that I play. And then on that off chance, maybe once a week on a weekend or something like that, you log in during the day, you almost have like this other experience. You're like, oh, who are these day people? Like, what the heck? Like, this is crazy. It's like playing DayZ or like World of Warcraft used to be. You have this true night cycle, true day-night cycle. You have these true differences in experiences between the two.
And I think what they're going for, like, they're going for these like realms versus realms who are like truly at war with each other, who want to fight each other. So almost to some extent, like the more realistic you can make some of this, the better. Jason, I saw you kind of like shaking your head a little bit at some of these ideas. I mean, do you think this sounds crazy? I mean, I know a lot of people are going to think some of these like ideas are kind of crazy.
Well, the thing is that there's a reason why games don't do a lot of this stuff now. Because people, like you said, people tended not to like them. Now, obviously, like you said, if you're going back to, you want to have a good game that's got good RVR and PvP or whatever, yeah, you can be that, you can be really solid. You don't necessarily have to do the really hardcore travel or day-night cycles. That could be the sort of thing where someone might be like, I don't like some of the annoying stuff that there was in the older games, but I really liked playing the RVR, the PvP. But I appreciate that the newer games have, some more conveniences. And there's a reason why those sort of things aren't found in the old games or aren't found in the newer games anymore.
Is that the reason, or is it more because that they've been trying to chase the larger numbers? So yeah, I agree that they have to make things very convenient and not very sort of like heavy-handed and punishing in a game to create, to attract more of the masses. But I still think that there is, and he's obviously going for less than 250,000 players. I think there's easily 250,000 players, even in just, the NA, who would want to play a game like this and who want to have like this real, I mean, look at DayZ, right? Look at DayZ. Look at how many people were playing DayZ. Look at how beyond frustrating and trying to be realistic that game is. I think I think there's enough people to sustain this, as long as they're not looking for like, some ridiculous number, which he's obviously coming straight out and saying we're not even going to hit 250. I think that, I don't know. I'm tired. I'm slightly tired of a lot of the MMOs going the same route of like building in all the big, huge systems. Like I'm kind of looking more towards some stuff that's kind of smaller, niche, does this one thing, and maybe is a little bit more hardcore. Jason says no.
I say you could do something. Just don't do the stuff that sucks. I guess.
What sucks? What sucks? Full day-night cycles?
Don't do.
What sucks? Full day-night cycles?
No.
Okay, spit it out.
I'm putting you on the chopping block. I want to know what sucks. I want to know what. They're probably watching this show and they're just maybe the design they could put these down. Jason said this sucks. Don't put this in the game. Okay.
Well, I used to hear people talking about how like original EverQuest would take you like 15-20 minutes to get somewhere, which I know you've talked about. Being, oh, that's so great, and it is to some extent. I could see the enjoyment of that, and I've played older MMOs that do that sort of thing. But in general, there's a reason why you don't see that these days. It's not
why?
that.
Why? But
because the larger portion of people decided they didn't like it.
Right, but they're not going for the larger portion of people.
He's right. That's why you see all these lobby-based games, whether it be high fantasy or sci-fi or whatever. There's tons of these lobby hub-based games that are out now.
But my point is they're not going for that large portion of people. That's the point. They're coming right out of the gate going, we're not going for them.
I agree, Gary. I think that go for it because people out there do want to play these types of games. That's why we have games like Forge, a game that's supposed to be like, hey, do you like a WoW Arena PvP? Come play this game. It's gonna be right. But they're going for that audience. So yeah, do it. Go and try to nail that audience because you might be surprised at how many people are into that thing. 249,000 possibly.
I bring up Dark Souls all the time as a single player game. But talk about a game that completely was successful and punished the hell out of people. I mean, Dark Souls could be for some players insanely frustrating and like your worst nightmare. But for a lot of gamers, Dark Souls is like their #1 game on their list. And they're like, that was the most saddest, you just had those moments of like slamming down your controller and just being so satisfied that you completed a level. I think the MMO market could kind of do good from something like this. I think there's enough players that would like it. I don't know. Jason's not going to tell me why. I want full darkness too. I want dark to be black. That was another thing in EQ1 that was amazing. You'd go to into a forest and like you couldn't see like 4 feet in front of you. You had no idea what was in there. You'd walk 5 more feet.
Come on, Gary.
Because I remember Mr. Mike B with his DayZ streams where you couldn't see. It was just all black in front of him. He really loved that.
I did. No. Okay, wait. There's when it was still you could kind of see. I loved that. When it's pitch black and no amount of crank up your brightness or anything was to make you see anything.
See, I remember seeing a stream of that once. And being like,
but that's the thing. Like PlanetSide 2 has a really nice night cycle. I would like if it was a little bit darker, but still the contrast between
go darker than you gotta go darker than PlanetSide. That's like that's a haze of 50% gray. I don't know. I'm a fan of not leaving a little bit to the imagination and not knowing what's in there. I remember going into, like I said, EQ and like you'd hear shit and like spiders would come out. And I'd be running for my life because I'd be training spiders and dying. And it's like I didn't even know they were there. I don't know. I'm old. All right. Next up.
Old.
He says everything in this game is geared to the tri-realm concept, whether it is crafting, the crafting system, housing, skill progression, etc. You will explore, fight, capture, level, etc., all within a competitive RVR world. I gotta say, I mean, this sounds awesome to me. There's another blog post I think even after this one that may have came out just today that I don't think I have notes on, but he goes into like how it's going to be RVR. It's going to be very PvP focused, and that's really what you're going to do. If you have those days that you don't really want to like RVR, there's going to be some other stuff for you to do, like say crafting and things like that. And there's also going to be like a housing system that sounds like it's going to be pretty robust. But other than that, he kind of comes right out and just goes, well, you know what? Maybe you don't log in today, and that's okay. Come back another day and log in. So it doesn't sound like there's going to be like they're going to just drop all the quests. I don't know. Are there going to be no questing, no PvE whatsoever?
I mean, the PvE elements probably, but you could have some kind of daily reward where you participate in various PvP. Like that exists in almost every game with PvP right now.
I don't know.
This I'm totally cool with because I've talked about this before. How you should have games that do a certain style. whether it's all PvP, so they don't have to worry about balancing with the PvE, or vice versa. Or,
Right.
If you look at PlanetSide 2, for instance, they only have PvP. They don't think about how some of their guns would ever work in PvE. Whereas I've seen like Guild Wars 2, they have some issues between how skills work in PvP versus how they work in PvE, and they would always have to balance one versus the other. And whenever you change something in PvE because it's too powerful in PvP, all the PvEers get mad, and it's just a big confounding mess. So I like that you would have a game that only offers one kind of playstyle.
Yep.
Go check it out. It's called Camelot Unchained. I don't know. Just gotta sing
That's the newest thing. Thanks, Django.
Yes. It's going to be on Kickstarter in March if you want to get behind it. I think I might actually get behind Mr. Jacobs on this one. I don't do many Kickstarters, but I think this one may need a couple bucks. I'll throw a couple bucks in to see this happen for sure. Final Fantasy XIV beta is apparently up and running again. So what do you guys think? Relaunch getting closer and closer. Everybody sign up. Everybody get their betas in.
I'm worried.
No? You're worried?
I'm worried. Yeah. Well, because if they're second,
you really don't get accepted and have to play it.
Yeah, I'll definitely play it for sure. I'm just worried that because this is their second chance at that nobody gets a second chance. They're getting one. Don't screw this up. Like, don't screw it up the second time around. You can't. Which is, I mean, I'm certain that they're probably not, just because of everything that we've seen. It looks like they're going a relatively safe route, which is good, much better than what it was. But no, yeah, I'm just worried because they're doing something nobody else is capable of doing because they don't have nobody else has the funding for it.
It'd be one hell of a comeback story if it actually takes place. It'll probably be one of the few that we ever talk about that actually kind of came back from resurrected from the dead, basically. I mean, from a few videos that we've seen so far here on TWIMMO, we've kind of dissected them and talked about them. I mean, we've kind of been a bit critical of certain things that we've seen. I want to see some more. I want to, Jason.
Just a bit.
Jason loves the global cooldown on the videos. They look a little static. I mean, I've heard some really good things from people who have played. So I want to get into beta, check it out, hopefully. And I guess this is, they're saying, and this is a pay. It's not going to go free to play. So they're going to charge a subscription in 2013. So hopefully they do turn around. Go check it out and sign up today. Also, last thing up, quick news, CCP FanFest kicking off April 25th this year, celebrating CCP's 10-year anniversary. If you guys gotta go to Iceland, go over and check that out and sign up. I gotta say, it is definitely, if you're an E fan and you haven't been to FanFest, it's totally worth going. I've been. It's a freaking awesome time. So
not everyone's gonna have the same experience as you, Gary.
No, everyone has fun there though. Not that, but I'm telling you,
everyone gets dragged to someone's basements and slams drinks all night.
I gotta say, CCP pulls out all the stops for everyone who shows up to FanFest. I guarantee you will have fun if you go, no matter who you're hanging out with. They just, I don't know. Then it's like 3 in the morning, and it's like 3 in the morning, and you're getting your head shaved into a mohawk or something, and you're arm wrestling somebody else. It's insane. It's worth going. It's definitely worth going. And maybe I just found this out. Did you know Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden is a pilot on Icelandic Air? So maybe you'll just get Bruce Dickinson to fly you from Boston to Iceland. I would say I want to see if I can request him as the pilot. If I'm flying from Boston to Iceland, I'll be like, can I get on the Dickinson flight? Because I just want to hear him come over this. Hi, this is your
special notes section.
Your pilot, Bruce Dickinson, lead singer of Iron Maiden, and I'll be flying you to Iceland. How awesome is that? What singer from Iron Maiden, and now he's a pilot for Icelandic Air. I'm just gonna be like, dude, could you sign like my fencing material? Like a fencing. I don't even know what fencing material is, but I just made that up. All right. So some viewer questions. If you guys have questions, send them in to submit@GameBreaker.tv. And if you have video questions, post them up on the YouTube. Send us the link. Send it to submit@GameBreaker.tv, and we'll play it on the show. Keep an eye on our Facebook page. Oh, we need. I want to hit 30,000 Facebook likes. We're at like 28,000 something. Come on. I want to hit 30,000 by the end of the month. We can do it. We can break that mark. We have not broken 30,000. Go over to facebook.com/GameBreakerTV. I want to break the 30K mark. We could do it. We could do it today if all of you guys went and did it. So go over facebook.com/GameBreakerTV. First up, this question from James Anderton. Says, with the announcement of Blizzard's Titan on the horizon, do you truly think that they use an awesome, spectacular, delicious free-to-play model? Or will they try the way their WoW subs work by including this Titan as part of an all-inclusive Blizzard subscription fee, i.e. $15 gets you access to both games? I really want to hear Jason's take on this.
Yeah, I mean, I think that makes perfect sense, having a kind of annual pass that includes Titan. I could see them giving some sort of extra bonus maybe to existing WoW players because they want to leverage all those 9 million people, or 9.6 or whatever, into trying Titan, giving that a shot. But I am kind of worried that it could divide their audience between the two games.
Like,
a lot
what
of
do you think?
people aren't necessarily going to, if they have to pay separately, they won't be able to play both.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be, it's going to be some kind of,
Package.
SOE style, like buy one subscription and get access to all this other stuff. We'll sweeten the deal with blah blah blah, whatever. Diablo 3 next expansion, I don't know. But yeah, I'm sure it's going to be some kind of all-inclusive, one single sub for everything, a Blizz sub or whatever they want to call it.
So both of you guys are calling Titan now, saying not free to play. Isn't this the same Mike B that said that pandas were going to be free?
I said I thought it should be.
You thought they were going to give away the expansion. You don't think they're going to move on?
Huh?
You don't think they're going to move on though and go fully free to play with Titan? You don't think that their next game is going to kind of? I don't know. I think it's
not if they can keep that money rolling. If they can keep that money rolling, giving away an expansion for free is different than subs. Two totally different things for me. Like I would not say, oh wow, it's going to go free to play before an expansion. Come on, I got the expansion.
The thing is, it's been proven that if with games that do it right and they do free to play with a cash out, if they do it right, they'll make more money with free to play than they will with creating subs.
Right, but they have so many subs. They have so much money coming in every month. They want to keep that rolling for as long as possible. I think the best way to do it is to have one single sub for everything.
All right, you guys say package bundle deal, and I'm gonna say it's gonna go free to play. That's what I'm saying.
Speaking of successful free to play, did you see that Victor announced they had 50 million signups for World of Tanks this week?
50 million signups.
50 million accounts created.
What was the math that you did on that, Jason? You said that
he said that it was like basically 20 to 30% of people pay, and then he said how many payments had been made. So it came to like 100 purchases by every person who's paid.
He may just buy the United States of America, Victor. He just may be like, now I buy United States of America, rolling tanks. We take over your country virtually. All right, next up, this one from Seth Morrison. Says, do you think Neverwinter will have an open beta before the Founders packs go away? There are things that interest me in the game and packs, but I can't justify $60 for a free-to-play game that I've never gotten my hands on, and I've never been a fan of paying to get into a beta of any kind. I could say the first thing, Seth, if you're watching this right now, the only thing I can tell you to do is after this show, if you're watching live, because you don't want to click away now, go to Twitch right now because people are streaming it. They're allowed to stream, so there's a bunch of streams up. People who are in beta are actually allowed to stream, so at least you can watch somebody playing it and see if you like it. I don't know. Open beta, have we heard anything? We don't know.
Well, aren't Founders packages, I mean, I guess by virtue of the name itself, it's supposed to be for people who are helping, they're a founder of the game by contributing money to help them, for development purposes or whatever. That's what it's supposed to be for. But I think we've seen the whole Founders package and whatever you want to call it, being used so many different ways. Like he said he doesn't want to have to pay to get access to beta, which we see a lot. Actually all the time now, I feel like. But no, it's supposed to. I thought the Founder package was supposed to be like, hey, this is a game I want to succeed. I have faith in these guys. Here's some money. Give me a package.
Yeah, and I mean, if you
like the game.
What's that, Jason?
You gotta be sure you're gonna like the game. I think, like you said before, not just this altruistic. Well, I want to see them do well. I want to see them do well if I like the game.
Right. Well, then you're just a consumer. You're just a player. You're not a founder. You're just a player.
And I think that's what I think the Founders packs, when you look at the pricing, because I think there's a $20 version, a $60 version, and like a $200 or $200 something version. $20 one doesn't get you into the beta. I think the $60 one is. I think whether the Founders packs are really going after people who are like, just if you're a really hardcore D&D fan, like you're probably going to want to play this. Like I think they're definitely priced in the way that like, hey, you really want to know that you're just been salivating waiting for this game to come out and you're going to play it. I mean, it's going to be free to play. So it's like they're not going to charge you a penny when it comes out. So if you're one of those players that's sort of on the fence and it sort of interests you, then you got to wait and just play it when it's free to play. You're not.
Nah.
But like I said, go watch Twitch. Go watch Twitch.
In about 5 minutes.
All right, Jay. Last up, Bear Powell. Bear says, do you think the glut of social media is getting out of hand for gamers, game companies, and game journalists? The irony. He asked us this on Twitter. What do you think?
I don't know, but I'll respond on my Twitter, my Google Plus, and my Facebook.
Let me read. I'll retweet all of those for you.
What do you guys think of social media these days with gaming? I mean, you think it's out of hand? I mean, it's like we use it. We all three of us use it constantly. I mean, it kind of.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if we could do what we do if it wasn't for social media.
Yeah, word of mouth is king, and right now, word of mouth is a retweet or a share or a like or whatever. That's what it is. And until it changes, which it will inevitably change, like everything else does. Until it changes, that's just the way that we're gonna go. People will get tired of it. The same way that's, kids are getting tired of Facebook because their parents are on it, so they're finding other methods of going and, putting their personalities out. Sorry, kids, you're like 12. But they're finding other methods of getting themselves out there. And that's just the way it is. So yeah, right now, is it a glut? Like, is it too much? I think it's just the way it is.
Yep.
That's it.
I agree. Jason, what do you think?
Yeah.
Good answer.
Good.
Hey, everybody, if you haven't checked it out, go on over to Netflix. Sign up for a free 30-day trial today. Just use netflix.com/GameBreakerTV is the URL. You can sign up for a free 30-day trial. No questions asked. If you like to keep it, it's $8 a month after that. But you got a free 30 days of their streaming service just by using that URL. So go over there and sign up today. Jason Winter, you can follow him on Twitter at WinterInformal. Bear, you can expect your answer at Winter Informal from Jason.
Oh, Bear talks to me all the time. He's a bear.
Bear is
okay.
Okay, Jason.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
Hey,
whoa, hey,
buddy.
Mike B.
Man.
Follow him on Twitter at AKA Mike B. Mike B is a top. And you can follow him on Twitter.
Right there. Yes. Thank you. Good show.
You missed that one. Follow me on Twitter at Gary Gannon. Follow GameBreaker TV at GameBreaker TV. And let's hit that Facebook page, peeps. Come on, 30,000 by the end of the month. Let's hit it. Facebook.com/GameBreaker TV. Go hit the like button. Help us out. And we will see. We do the show live every Friday at 3 PST. So we'll see you next week for some more This Week in MMO. Have a great weekend. Have a great weekend. Later.